Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Was Wrong, Season 3, Episode 6. And I must say, this was a really good episode. So let me jump right in. The episode opens where it left off last week, where Brad and Marcy are sweating it out in the shed. Randall calls himself opening the shed and trying to break them up. Marcy pushes him away, but then, Brad roughs him up, throws him back outside, and then shuts the shed back and locks it from the inside. And, man, did Randall break the fuck down. This dude started wailing and crying and sobbing as if, the love of his life died, or like his child died. Like, he broke down that seriously, because it was like karma was right there in his face, in the very same place that him and Alex, did their, messy shit, is the same place where his wife and her husband are now in that same spot doing the exact same thing. He's going mad. He's emotional. He's crying. He's sobbing, and he's completely in a very, very deep emotional state, as if like his heart's been ripped out of his chest. His mother Louise, is there, comforting him, saying that she should be ashamed of herself, and and pretty much is telling him that, look, I'm not going to leave you here with this woman. We need to pack your stuff and we need to leave. And he's like, I'm not leaving my house. I'm not going anywhere. And it even got to the point he was so messed up emotionally that he told his own mother to shut up. Now I'm like, damn, like, shoot. I know where I come from. Me telling my mother to shut up was like a straight up backhand, but that's just me. But it's crazy because here she is thinking that Randall's the victim, and that Marcy is just out here having sex with another man, and is doing it right in his face and practically throwing it up in his face. And of course, Louise doesn't know the real truth, and Randall doesn't have the courage or the gumption to tell her the truth, because, as I said before, Randall's a bitch baby. He's used to, getting attention, and is used to getting stroked. But, he doesn't want to accept responsibility for his own actions. He's still trying to play the victim with his mom. And, the mother is, like, seriously concerned, like, because she's really seeing how explosive this situation has become between him and Marcy. And she's saying that, look, we need to get you the hell out of here. And he's just totally defiant that he's going to stay in his house and that he's not going any damn where. So she pretty much says, like, her behavior is, abominable and appalling, and I'm not going to sit here and just watch you two kill each other. And he answers, we've already done it. He killed her, and now she killed him, in revenge. The next scene, it goes back to Brad and Marcy, still getting it in the shed. You still hear her moaning. He's still hitting it from the back, and Kelly then bangs on the door and tells them to get their asses out of there right now. So, and she bangs, a number of times saying, you guys get your asses out here. So they finally come out, and Kelly's like, I can't believe this. You think by doing this you're gonna fix? You think by doing this fix anything? And then Brad is like, well, no, but it sure as hell feels good right now. And Marcy agrees, and Kelly says that you are both wrong. And Marcy's like, well, hell, that makes the four of us. And she's like, and Kelly's like, I can't believe you guys would do this. I'm so disgusted. And then Brad's like, who gives a fuck whether you disgusted or not? Who cares? And she tells him that Alex has been calling her around the clock because he left the children in the house by themselves. And then she goes to Marcy and gets really close to her face and says for her to sober the hell up. And pretty much they agree to meet up there tomorrow, same time, and they're going to get it in, they're going to make it a routine. Then we actually see, Brad leaves, Marcy leaves, and, Brad leaves and Kelly leaves, and Marcy goes into the house where she walks by, Louise, pretty much comforting, Randall, who is very emotionally distraught after seeing his wife have sex with Brad. She goes in and, Louise is like, oh my God, just look at yourself. Just look at yourself. And Marcy's kind of being really catty and very bitchy, like, oh, why? You never seen satisfaction before? Like, just really throwing it up in their faces. And, she's like, do you see what you've done to your husband? Do you see how emotional you have made him? This man is broken. And she's like, oh, poo-hoo, poor baby. Who gives a shit? And Marcy's looking for a bottle to drink, and she's like, you drank it all. You drunk all the wine. And she says, well, hell, your ass is already here. Why don't you go get some? She's like, I am not your maid. And she's like, shit, you look like one. And then it gets to the point where Marcy starts taunting Louise, like, so what is it? Like, have you ever had any good loving? Have you ever had something so sensual and exotic and thrustful? And she's just constantly going at it to the point that Louise gets so pissed that she slaps the shit out of Marcy, and Marcy slaps her back. And it's like, bitch, don't you ever put your hands on me. And, pretty much says that, Louise just immediately from that point starts going in, telling Marcy that she's like the lowest slut, that she's ever seen, and that, it's so trifling that bastard didn't even have the decency to take you to a hotel. Kind of goes back to what Brad said about Randall and Alex, that you didn't have the decency to take her to a hotel. So if anything, he's just really intentionally paying Randall back for what he did to his wife. Screwing her up in the shed like a little hoe. And he, in a way, did the same thing with Marcy. And he's like, instead, he decided to screw you like a slave in a shack. I mean, fucking Louise was going in. And, and he's like, how low is that? How trifling is that? And then we start to see Marcy breaks down. And Marcy really says, oh, you really want to know how low it is? You really want to know how low and trifling it is? And she breaks down and she finally confesses that, the truth is that he was screwing his wife in that same exact shed. And I don't know how long it was going on, but I can say what me and Brad did was intentional, because we are both hurting. We are both scorned by what they did to us. They did this right under our noses. I was faithful. I was loyal to him. I loved him. And this is how he repaid me, by screwing the next door neighbor in the shed. And then she gets to the point where she looks Randall dead in his face. She's like, damn you for breaking our vows, and I fucking hate you. But she had to say fucking, that's me, but you know what I mean. She pretty much says, I hate you for this. And she says that, I'd just be so happy when both of you get the hell out of here. He won't leave. That's the problem. He's just here, and he won't fucking leave. And she says that every night you here, I will be out there with Brad on top of me. Every single night. And she pretty much said that every kiss, every lick, every thrust, every push, and every pull made me feel better. So, pretty much, Marcy is very, very low right now, because it's like the situation has just built, and you can see that she's deteriorating, because of it. The next scene, Natalie is awakened by her boss, Mr. Kim, who's looking for his daughter, Fawn. She actually goes to Joey's room to see if he's there, and she sees that Joey hasn't gotten home when he should have been home by then. So she pretty much states on the phone, like, hey, Joey, hey, Joey, have you seen Fawn? No, I haven't seen it. You know how we do, like, shoot, mostly everybody lies to their boss, so she pretty much did, like, the standard thing that we all do. So she pretty much plays it off like, like he's there when she knows he's not, and she gets off the phone with her boss, and then she calls a friend to borrow her car so she can go down to, the Burger Fast to see what's going on. Next, we see Alex in the hospital. She calls Kelly to find out what's going on. She tells Kelly that she found Brad in the backyard, and, pretty much in the backyard of Randall and Marcy, but she's like, what was he doing? And she's like, oh, he's not doing anything. And, Alex mentions that Brad won't return her calls, and that, and soon as she mentions that to her, Brad sends her a text of the picture of the shed. In her mind, she's thinking, oh, he's just reminding me of what I've done, and he's constantly throwing it in my face. So Brad is at the point where Brad just don't give 3 fucks about Alex, her feelings, her state, or nothing. He just don't care. And and Brad is just at that point where he's just been broken, and now he's becoming a totally different person. And when she sees the picture of the shed, she pretty much Alex asks Kelly, what was he doing back there? And she said, oh, he wasn't doing anything. And she's like, Kelly, don't lie to me. What's going on? And she said, you need to talk to him. So and pretty much when she tells Kelly, that he sent her a picture of the shed, of course this alerts Kelly, like, why the hell would he do that? And Alice immediately goes in that, oh, it's just him reminding me of what I've done. He's just going to continue to make me suffer. If you only knew, boo-boo. If you only knew. The next scene, we actually see Natalie walk into the Burger Fast to find Joey and Fawn getting it in nice and slow on the food counter. I mean, she was so thrown off that she threw water on them to get them off each other. Pretty much tells Fawn that, look, your father's looking for you. He may be down here. He may be on his way here now. You need to get the hell up out of here. She's like, oh, please don't tell my dad. Please don't. I'm so sorry. I'm like, and I was just kind of laughing at her ass because it's like last episode she was all confident, was all aggressive, was pretty much putting it on a silver platter saying, come eat me. And then all of a sudden she get busted. She turns right into the little girl. And Joey, in a way, turned into like a little boy. Like, it's like they were like little kids caught with their hands in the wrong places. And pretty much, she pretty much tells her she needs to get dressed, and, she was telling her she needed to get out of here, but, Joey told her that she called a cab, and it's a dangerous neighborhood, so she needs to stay inside until the cab comes, so they take care of that. And she's going off, like, boy, what the hell do you think you're doing? We actually use this area for food. People put their food on this table. You up here screwing and being all nasty and shit. And then she asked him, did he use a condom? And he didn't say anything. And she's like, well, I ought to break your damn neck. The hell is wrong with you? And she was saying, oh, you going to bleach this counter. You going to bleach this counter. He's like, but Mom, man, come on. Why are you embarrassing me? He's like, embarrassing you, mother. You better bleach. You better bleach this motherfucking I live for Natalie this season. I mean, Natalie is bringing out, you know, the real hood and the real mom. Like, she's not playing around. I mean, especially when she was slicing up Randall. I got my life when she was doing that. I mean, one slice at a time, baby. So, yeah, so she was serious, you know, that, you know, one, they got caught having sex in the restaurant, but also on the food counter. And due to the fact that, you know, she's trying to, in a way, kind of keep it hush because she doesn't want her boss to find out that his daughter and her son are messing around. You know, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet scenario. It never ends well. Let's see. The next scene, Lucian comes into Nellie's apartment. He gives his son a new book bag. He gives her two daughters these little school boxes, and you know, him and Natalie start talking. He can immediately tell something's bothering Natalie, and you know, he brings up about the house, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm not even thinking about that house right now. I mean, I don't even think we should get a house. I mean, we can't even live in an apartment together, so why would we even get a house?" I'm like, "Girl, to get y'all asses out the fucking hood, dumbass. It's all about the come up, boo-boo." And if anything, you and Lucian been riding with each other for a minute. Yeah, y'all may not live together, but y'all definitely have, you know, shared the same space at one point in time, so I'm pretty sure living together won't be that much hard. But then again, it's also because, you know, Natalie likes to be in control. And Lucius also knows that too. But then he brings up, you know, the conversation he had with Esperanza. And he asks, like, why does Esperanza didn't want to tell me about Alex's baby? And Natalie confessed and told him that, you know, well, the reason is because the baby's Randall's. I mean, there's no doubt that that's Randall's baby. And Lucius is like, wow, damn, how's Brad taking it? He's like, not very good. He's really at his lowest right now. And she pretty much tells him, please don't tell Eddie, because she knows, you know, him and Eddie are close, and he knows she already knows how Eddie is. So she's like, oh, he's like, don't even worry about it. But he even said that the police station has been better off since Eddie, you know, hasn't been there. Then she tells him she wants him to talk to Joey about sex. Like, Natalie, I love you, baby, but Joey's a grown ass man. Joey probably put his finger and put his thing up in it long time ago. Trust me, that ain't his first time. But mainly, I think it was all the fact that he needs to learn to use condoms. I mean, especially if you're gonna be wilding out. You know, the last thing you want to do is, you know, pretty much dip your stick in the wrong thing, and then all of a sudden something comes back and bites you. But just the way she went about it was like, wow. And then she tells him what happened at the Burger Fest between him and Fawn. And she calls Joey and tells him that Lucius needs to talk to you. You know, he's going to tell you what a condom is. And then on the way out, her youngest daughter's like, Mommy, what's a condom? And she's like, oh, it's condiments, baby, like ketchup and mustard and stuff like that. Let's go. Like, girl, you could get, like, little kids pick shit up. So that was funny. And he pretty much talks to Joey, but he's like, man, like, you know, you're a grown man. I think you know about the birds and the bees and about sex and all that stuff. I don't need to have a conversation with you. But then he started saying, like, but you know, wearing a condom is very important because it protects you from, you know, STDs, AIDS, and HPV. And he's like, what is HPV? I'm like, wow. Okay, so really he doesn't know a lot about, you know, sexually transmitted diseases. And he was saying that, you know, well, HPV, you know, it doesn't really affect a man much, but it's hell on a woman. So the worst thing you can do is, you know, give something like that to a woman without thinking about her well-being or her welfare. So always protect yourself. Oh yeah, and for HPV, it's pretty much, you know, hepatitis B, you know, which can be transmitted through sex. Anyway, uh, so they kind of joke around, and he's talking about, like, he's telling about, him and Fawn doing the thing, and Lucia's like, man, I don't need to hear all this. You don't need to spare me the details, but he's so amped because he enjoyed himself with it. He's like, man, I can make her my main chick. So I'm like, wow, okay, Joey, I see your ass. I see you. Shoot. You done got out of jail, you starting to feel yourself, you done got buffed up, and now you just out here smashing. and then, like, Lucia's like, I'm going to get your ass some condoms, bro, because you're going to be into a hell of a lot of trouble if you don't have any. So that's how that scene ended. The next scene, we see Eddie and Brad. Eddie comes to Brad's office. He kind of jokes with him about, like, you didn't even check on me when I was shot. And he's like, well, you're standing right in front of me, so obviously you're fine. And, of course, Eddie was just joking around with Brad. But but in the midst of the conversation, Brad asks Eddie, about his Uncle Rusty, who is Alex's father. And we met Alex's father a few episodes ago, and we see how much of a cruel racist her father really is. I mean, and we already know what just really went down. So if he finds out, all hell's gonna break loose. And I think Brad knows this, so Brad is trying to set something up where he can get in touch with Rusty to let him know that they just had another grandchild, and he can actually meet his new grandson, knowing it's going to cause some hell. So Brad right now is out for vengeance. He's out for blood. He wants Alex to suffer, and wants her to pretty much deal with the hell that she has put him through. And Eddie. And this was funny because even Eddie was kind of like off-put by it. Like, you really sure you want this crazy racist son of a bitch? You really want to contact him? Like, really? Like, come on, man. Like, this is the guy that didn't come to your wedding because he thought that you were a communist. And he would rather kill somebody than sit next to a gay or a black man. This is the person you want to contact? Why? He's like, and then Brad's like, well, come on, man, it's your family. He's like, man, just because we born family don't mean we stay family. I don't claim no motherfuckers. And he's probably at some damn, all white rally right now. Deep in the woods somewhere. So he's like, so pretty much he's pretty much like, Eddie's like in a way kind of like, man, I don't think it's a good idea, but he's like, but no, I really want to get in touch with him, and I think he needs to meet his new grandchild, and if anything, eventually it's like after a while when he starts thinking, because obviously Eddie's thinking about her involvement with Randall, and that's really gonna piss his ass off. So yeah, why not? Let's set something up. He's like, it's like a 3-hour drive. He's like, okay, we'll make the drive, because I really want to bring hell, but I haven't been able to get in touch with him. He's like, okay, it's a 3-hour drive. You willing to make that trip? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And Eddie goes on to light a joint up in the office. Brad takes it, and Brad just starts taking it to the head because Brad is just at that point now where he's just crossed over to the bad side. The good, wholesome, husband and father is now out the window. The next scene, we see that we actually see Kelly. She's still ignoring Marcy's calls. So I think definitely there's going to be something between her and Marcy down the road, and I don't think it's going to be cute. But Kelly is like cooking or whatever, and her son comes in from his little league baseball game with Travis. He's excited because he said he hit a home run. His mother tells him, "Oh boy, you smell. You need to go take a shower." He's like, "Yeah, I smell like a man." I was like, look at little man, that's what's up. But she's like, "Oh well, can you please go shower? Can you please go take a bath?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, and take those shoes off. They'll be, dirtying up my carpet with them cleats." And all of a sudden, Travis was about to get comfortable. She's like, "Oh no, you can leave." And he's like, "What?" He's like, it was nice of you that you took my son to the game. I'm glad you guys had a good time, but you gotta go." And immediately when, she's actually, loading dishes in the dishwasher, and she bends over and he's checking her ass out. Then all of a sudden, that's when he gets in his feelings. He's like, "You need to stop treating me like this." Like what? Treat me like this, like the way you've been coming at me. Like you don't answer my calls, and you give me something, and then you just cut me off. Like what's up with that? And then eventually he just asks like, "So what's up? What's going on? I mean, is there someone else?" And she's like, "What?" It's like, "Is there someone else?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, let me come up here and find a man up in here." And she said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You heard what I said. Let me come up in here and find a man up in here." And that's when she lets him have it. Literally. She goes in and is like, "First of all, I paid a mortgage up in this motherfucker. I had to get a promotion, and I had to do overtime and literally had to beg my boss to give me that promotion so that I can afford this house. So if I have a man up in here, it's none of your damn business." And he's like, oh yeah? Okay, yeah, that's cute. But let me find a man up in here." like Travis, at the end of the day, I get where you coming from, bro, but dude, you're doing too much right now. Because first of all, you're not paying no bills up in that bitch, so you can't regulate some shit that you don't own, and you definitely don't own that house. So have several seats. and then she's like, "Little boy, get the hell out of my house." She's like, the little boy's back there. Let me find a man up in here. He's like, "Get the hell out of my house." And as soon as she's about to push his ass out, Ramsey shows up. And immediately, you can see Travis getting his feelings. "Who the hell are you? The hell you doing here? Who are you?" And you can just tell how the way Ramsey looking at him like, "Yo, what the fuck is your deal?" Like, dude. And you can kind of see how built Ramsey is. Like, Travis, you need to kind of calm down because Ramsey looks like he can just straight up tackle your ass. And you ain't getting back up, bro. And Ramsey comes in and he's telling her, like, I'm very thankful for what you've done for me. And he's just still, Travis still in the back. "Who the hell are you? What you talking about? Who this?" And Kelly's just looking at him like, "If you don't shut the fuck up." and then he's still like, "Who the hell are you?" And Travis, and then Ramsey is saying that I really thank you for last night. I don't know how I could have made it if you weren't there for me. And he's like, "Last night? What the hell went on last night? What's going on last night? Like, who the hell is this? What the fuck's going on?" And Ramsey's like, "We actually found my mother dead last night." And all of a sudden he's like, I'm sorry to hear that, man. My condolences." Like, nigga, you young ass dummy. Like, you just trying to get height, but you totally in the wrong place for that. And you definitely gotta think, like, you really want to meet up with Ramsey? Because Ramsey look like he could take you. And he gives Kelly a gift that his mother had for her, but of course she passed away. And he said this is probably something that she want to give to you to welcome you to the neighborhood. And you can definitely tell that Ramsey's still shaking up, but he's kind of taking it step by step. So she pretty much sends him off like, "Thank you, Ramsey. I'll definitely be in touch with you." And all of a sudden, she looks at fucking Travis like she really wants to punch the shit out of him. And Travis is like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Oh my God, he had me rolling. I was like, man, you off the hook. Then we also have a scene after that where Eddie is still begging the captain for his job back, and Eddie is such a fucking idiot because the fact is you left the fucking hospital and didn't get checked out. So the captain is telling you until you get okayed by a doctor, you can't come back to work. But this fool still thinks he's above the law and that he can pull some strings to get him back on there. Like, you need me. I need to be on the. I need to be on the force. And he said, no. You know, this is department policy. It is what it is. You know, you need to get, signed off by a doctor before you can come back to work, and get the hell out of here. So the next scene we have, Pete is trying. We actually do know slightly that Pete did get that damn tape, but the format of the tape can't play on those computers. And the lieutenant walked by and he's like, you can't play that drive on these computers. And he's like, well, yeah, I know. He's like, so why are you doing it? He's like, I'm not doing anything. The next thing you know, Esperanza comes and they have like a brief conversation, and then Ben finally arrives. So of course he's happy to see Ben. Ben's out the hospital. He's bandaged up. He's on desk duty. And all of a sudden, Ben is like, we should definitely kick it. We should definitely, after work, we should get some drinks and, just hang out for old time's sake. And, of course, at first, Peter's hesitant, like, you come on, man, I got my girl and all this. Like, but come on, man, it's me. I just got shot, man. I ain't got no fingers. And we went to the police academy together, man. We boys. We should hang out. And first, then like Peter's like, is Eddie gonna be there? He's like, well, what's Eddie got to do with it? He's like, Eddie's bad news, man. And if Eddie's gonna be there, I'm not gonna be there. He's like, oh, no worry, man. It's gonna be the two of us. Just be the two of us having a good time, catching up. He's like, okay, man, I'll come. So Pete goes off, to handle something, and then immediately Ben's drug addict ass calls Eddie and lets him know, like, okay, yeah, I told him we gonna be at this spot, and he's like, follow him all day and don't lose sight of him. So Eddie is still got his hands in shit, even though he's not, back to work. I mean, I think that's why he goes after rookies, because he can use them as his flunkies. I mean, that's pretty much how a sociopath works. It's like they have like a, they pretty much have an operation of minions who they can manipulate and control to do things that they would do if they were there. So, pretty much you really see that Eddie is a true sociopath, and one of his minions is Ben. And of course, Ben's going to be loyal because Ben's a fucking junkie. Next, we have a scene between Louise and Marcy, and I have to say this was the best scene of the episode. She tries to give her like this green beverage because she knows that Marcy's fucked up, and first Marcy's like, I don't want that shit and get the hell out of my room, and Louise begins to tell her that he brought Alex to Denver. And he lied and told her that she was there on business, but she had a friend that worked at the hotel they were staying at, and the lady told her that they checked in the hotel together and that they were with each other the whole weekend. So, turns out, Louise actually knew about him and Alex. But she said she never confronted him because she refused to believe that he would do the same type of thing that his father did to her years ago. And she also opens up about, her husband, Randall's father, and that, the love of her life was actually cheating on her with one of her closest friends. And that it was going on right under her nose, and that she was livid, and it was like she was a bull in a cage and she saw red. But she said she could not lower her standards as to sleeping with someone to get revenge. Now, that was real, but then again, everybody responds differently. But then again, she did kind of go in to say that you're better than this. Because she now gets it, Now she relates to Marcy. At first, Marcy was every slut, whore, and skeezer, and tramp, and, harlot, every negative connotation for a woman, she was shooting them at Marcy from the moment she got there. And now you're really seeing her have a heart-to-heart moment with Marcy, because she now sees that Marcy is a scorned woman, just like she was when Randall's father cheated on her. And and she pretty much says that, the way you're going to get through this situation is strength and courage, and you do have strength and courage. You're better than what you're doing right now, so you need to get up. And so she pretty much tells her, like, if you never hear anything from me ever again, hear this. What you do now will determine the rest of your life. So she's saying, get up, face the pain, face the anger, face the frustration, face it head on, and you deal with it until things get better. And she says, that is called being a woman. So I have to say that was a very powerful scene, and Marcy is definitely very emotional, because Marcy is beginning to realize she did lose herself in this situation, and she's becoming a person that she really is not. Boo Boo been having, been drinking, been having like wine and liquor for breakfast for the past months and shit. So she's completely lost herself after the aftermath of finding out about Randall and Alex. So it was good to see a moment where Louise would stop being the evil bitch and started really being supportive to Marcy, because Marcy needs a good person. Marcy needs someone to inspire her and someone to keep her strong, because she's alone right now. Well, the next scene, Kelly looks out of her window and she sees smoke coming from Brad and Alice's backyard. She goes over. Brad is burning pictures of him and Alex, memories of their relationship. He's burning them on the grill. And he pretty much opens up to Kelly, because Kelly was like pretty much saying that, Kelly was pretty much saying that, you're doing this in front of the children. He's like, you're judging me, Kelly? She's like, no, I'm just saying, are you really thinking this through? And he says that right now I'm an emotional roller coaster. One minute I'm sane, the next minute I'm not. One minute I'm okay, the next minute I'm just mad as hell all over again. And then he shows her a box that his daughter pulled from the attic. And he said that this box is what we use to name our children. And, this was definitely one of the best memories, was, them naming their children and them pulling names out of this box to name their kids. But he says that, so Kelly was like, are you going to burn it? And he was like, no, I'm not going to burn it, but I have another idea. And she's like, well, what? And he said, I'm sure Alice will tell you. And that's how it ended. So I really do feel that he's definitely going to get Alex's father involved, and it's just going to be a massive explosion. And I think it's definitely going to escalate from here and there. But I think like one of the big things about this episode, especially involving Randall and Alice's situation, that if you got somebody good in your life, stick it out and work it out. And because we're really seeing a good man like Brad go bad. Like, you really seeing Brad go to the opposite side. He's becoming somebody that we didn't recognize seasons prior. We can even say in the second season he was upset, but now he is like downright pissed off, to the point where he don't give a fuck no more. It's kind of like the children are an afterthought, his career's an afterthought, Alex is not even a thought at all. I mean, hell, he pretty much has her listed as a lying bitch on his phone, so he don't give three fucks about Alex right now. So he's at a point now where it's like you're really seeing a good person become bad. And when you really hurt somebody that's good, it's a pain and a tragedy when they turn bad. So My advice to you, and this is advice I take myself, that if you got somebody good in your life, make it work. You know, even if it's not a love relationship, even if it's a friendship or anything of that caliber, you know, if it's a true relationship, you know, don't do something that you'll regret later. So that was you know, loving you is wrong. You know, please, you know, subscribe to me. You know, comment on this video. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I'll definitely see you guys next week. So stay tuned.